Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, it is time to start the first live show of the year. My first live stream of 2026. Gotta do a quick sound check and we'll be ready to roll. Well, I'm not sure if the sound is working, to be honest. Well, that was the bottles I just heard in the back. Okay, I think we're good on sound. Paul Doomcat's in the house. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, sound check is confirmed. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I am the Old Humble Guy. That behind me is my distillery. I'm currently filtering some Special Reserve. We're going to bottle the Special Reserve, and what you can't see right now because it is off camera is the table where we're going to be putting, there's my finger, the table where we're going to be putting the bottles right there. So, I mean, without any further ado, let's do a quick word from the sponsor, which is me. And then we'll get rolling. Cheers, Paul. Welcome to the party. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I am the Old Humble Guy, Joe Brita. This is the Old Humble Distilling Company, and you are in my tasting room, and I have to ask, have you tried my delicious whiskey? Because if not, I've got a treat for you today, because we have 4 award-winning Texas whiskeys for you to try. First off is our straight whiskey, 90% corn, 10% malted barley, aged 5 years in used bourbon barrels and bottled at 90 proof. Next to it is our Special Reserve. We take a portion of the straight whiskey and put it back in new barrels to age it a second time. Gives it a little bit deeper color, a little bit darker flavor, a little bit oakier, smokier finish. Third on the list is our Boomtown Bourbon, our flagship bourbon, the first bourbon we've ever made. A true Texas small batch craft bourbon made in 50-gallon batches and aged in 5-gallon barrels. And finally, our Double Oak Rye. A true Texas rye, sourced with grains from the Texas Panhandle, aged with extra oak staves to balance out that high rye flavor and give it a nice, clean, smooth finish. 4 award-winning Texas whiskeys, all available right here at the Old Humble Distilling Company and in finer liquor stores near you. Plus, you can go online, oldhumbledistilling.com. Go to shop online, and you can order yourself up a bottle there in 46 states across the country. Treat yourself to something nice. Treat yourself to something from Old Humble Distilling Company. Cheers and happy drinking. And we're back. Okay, so that was me at the tasting room. I've actually redesigned the space behind the bar there, so I need to probably re-record that. Plus, I need to get out of that black Stetson and replace it with my brown. That's 224. We're doing 60 bottles we're doing at least 60 bottles. I think I want to do 68 because that's 5 cases. Well, I guess I could do 72. I could do 6 cases. But one of those cases is going to the tasting room. This is an order going out to our distributor tomorrow. I was detained doing other work yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll be 36 bottles. This will be 3 cases right here. I was indisposed yesterday, and I guess I could have come in late, but I didn't have all my filtration set up to work at the distillery yesterday. So I wouldn't have been able to do this right. And if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. So I didn't want to half-ass the job. That's 36. You know, we're going to do stacks of 8 and make it 72. So that'll be 9 stacks of 8. My phone is still charging. Who's that? Still Paul. Cool. I will check your chat in just a minute. I want to get these bottles stacked real quick before 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 36. I'm going to do 9 stacks of 8. 1, 2, 3. So this is not our typical Thursday night happy hour format. I'm not doing my typical Thursday night show because I have work to do. But I've been wanting to plan something. I've been wanting to finally do a show. We passed 5,000 subscribers, which is a big milestone. We're almost at 3 million views on the channel, which is another huge milestone. The filter is just about done, so we can quiet this down a little bit in here. Almost done. Just a little bit more left to go in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 3, 4. And 8 times 8 is 64, so I need another stack to hit it at 72. If I had my shit together, I would be filling the bottles as I stack the bottles, so I'd be clearing off space as I fill up space. But I don't have my shit together, as most of y'all know already. When you watch me do my shows, I pretty much just go on a grip it and rip it philosophy and pray and hope for the best. And that has mostly worked out for me. But what people don't know about me is I am an obsessive planner. I plan things down as much as I can, and then eventually get to the point where I'm just like, I'm overthinking this. It's not that important. Fuck it. Let's go. Especially when it comes to my stupid YouTube shit. Because, as I am also fond of telling people, I am a distiller with a YouTube channel, not a YouTuber with a distillery. And that is an important distinction on how I approach what I do on the channel. So, all right. Hi, everybody. I'm the Old Humble Guy. Welcome to the Old Humble Distilling Company. Let's move that up just a hair. Y'all couldn't see me stacking all the bottles. There's all the bottles right there. There's all the bottles being stacked up. That's what I was doing. That's where they're going. This is where I'm going to be. All right. Let me catch up with Paul here. Ended up a straight whiskey and special reserve, migrated to the back of the cabinet and couldn't reach it. I'll be well, you know, we can make that, we can fix that. We're going to have, this should be 72. 8 times 9 is 72, right? Why can't, y'all can't see me. Let me move this. You know what? We're going to move this over here to stage left. Is that what that is? I don't know how that works. Okay, but that's the ceiling. That is there. That'll be a little bit better. Now you can at least see me. I'm on the wrong side, but that's cool. Y'all don't really need to see my face. All right, so the first bottles are always very cloudy because the first bottles have air in the line. Tuck my shirt back in. The first bottles get the air in the line. So they're always cloudy like that because they're bubbly. And then once the air gets out of the line, right there. It's usually sooner than that, but that's fine. I could let this just settle and sit. But I like to send the last batch that I bottled back into the barrel to kind of blend with the next batches of whiskey so that the first bottles don't taste different than the last bottles from the same batch. So this batch is going to have whiskey that all taste the same. It's all special reserve, but I always clean out the lines in between batches. So if I do a rye batch and then a straight whiskey batch, the only batch that goes in the bottle is straight whiskey, because I'll clean out the rye before I do the straight whiskey batch. But if there's any residual flavor in there, you know, I want it to go back into this barrel so that it's all, I gotta tuck my shirt all the way in. I might just go back there and pull my pants down and properly tuck my shirt in like a master, a proper sir, if you will. So these are all filling up just a little bit too high, but that's okay. That's okay. That's why we got the bucket to pour stuff back into, so that we're all right at the level mark. We're all in agreement that we're at 750 or thereabouts. No less than 748, no more than 752. There's a slight tolerance allowed, a slight variance allowed when it comes to filling these bottles up. But there you go. So, first stream of 2026. We're not doing the typical sitting at the desk talking about current events stuff, but we can go as late as you want. I'm good with this. This is probably going to take me about 3 hours-ish. So I'm at least going to go till 11 o'clock. So you've got a chance to go visit your other streamers tonight. Any of your other thirsty guys that you want to hang out with. I'm fine. I'm going to be here regardless because I've got work to do, as you can see. Shout out to whoever this advertiser is. Oh, hello, who's this? Single women will relocate, is what it says. So that's kind of cool. So I had Ticketmaster, some fucking computer game, and single women will relocate on the stream. So there you go. Lonely losers, people who like spending $100 on service charges, and lonely losers. We got all the ads for you here on the Old Humble Distilling Company's happy hour live stream. We finished the year, speaking of live streaming, we finished the year $12 short of our monetization goal for the year. My goal for the year is always $200. Just get 2 checks. That's it. One at the beginning of the year, one at the end of the year. And I only got my 1 check at the beginning of the year, or middle of the year, I guess it was. I got the check in June. They send you a check for every $100. That's how the monetization works. And most of my monetization comes from shorts, not these shows. But if I look at my monetization from the last, I'm at $89.28. So if we pass the $100 mark tonight, or with live super chats or whatever, if we get $12 tonight, I will send out a free bottle of whiskey to someone. We get $12, and I will pull from my viewers on the show. Well, no, you know what I'll do? I'll spin the wheel like I normally do. Everybody, I'll go back through the chat log. Everybody who participated in chat, we've got John, we've got Paul. Everyone who participated in chat will go onto the wheel, and anybody who contributed money goes on the wheel that many times, however many monies they contributed. If you're the only person who contributed money, then you're going to be on the wheel all the time. That's cool. I'm cool with that. And, you know, this is kind of an unannounced stream. I don't know yet what I'm going to do for my 5,000 subscriber stream. I was a little bit surprised when it happened. But, you know, we passed the 5,000 mark. And I mean, it happened. So I'm not sure what to do exactly. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out how to stack 72 bottles there. Probably do 8x9. I'm running out of space here because I've got this shit. Got this. This dude's product plus my product. So I'm running out of space on my table. But I think for my 5,000 subscriber special, I'm going to advertise a show. We're going to do a show, try and get as many people watching as we possibly can to a live stream where we celebrate 5,000 subs. And then, I don't know, maybe give away 5 bottles of whiskey. Maybe give away a whole set of the 4 bottles. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe I've got these gift boxes where we put 2 bottles, 2 shot glasses, the holiday Christmas, the Christmas New Year holiday gift boxes that we did. Maybe I'll put together a couple of those, and yeah, maybe that's what we'll do. We'll ship out two packs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's 6. 72 would be 6 times 12. That'd be 24 rows. I ain't got space for 24 rows. So we'll do another 8x9, I guess. Or 9x8. Yeah, I think I could probably do 9x8. Just gonna move these back and over. All right. There we go. There we go. I hope my distributor doesn't get pissed off at me. Oh! Dog, ball! Dog! Thank you. You just put me over the top, man, in a big way. You know what? You're going to get a box. You know, I'm going to go ahead. Like, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to, because I appreciate what you just did. You got me over my funding limit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I had them on my Facebook page. You'll see on my Facebook, on my Instagram, right around Christmas time. You'll see what I'm talking about. They're just the gift wrapped things. I'll put it in a box, ship it to you. Email me your address. info@oldhumblедistilling.com. See, here's what that does. Single ladies willing to relocate. foreignlovestories.com. foreignlovestories.com. foreign-love-stories.com is the advertiser. So lonely losers who want foreign love stories, you're welcome to do it with an advertiser on my channel. That'll be worth like 4 cents. Anyway, what that does is it lets me invest in the channel. All the channel money goes back into the channel. So microphones, lights, green screen, cameras, stuff like that. Editing software so that I can do short form edited skits. Thank you, Paul. Wow, you're a fucking boss, man. I'm gonna pin that. How can I pin that? I go over here to I can do that. Pin it. Boom. There it is. Hearted. I think I hearted it. There, I liked it. I hit the like button on it, I think. Oop. Is that the like button? There. All right. I think that's it. I think I just did everything that I can do to highlight your I think I just did everything that I can do to show off how awesome you are. All right, back to work. I gotta go. I gotta finish this work so that I've got. I don't have to be up in the morning early, but I do need to make sure that we get this scheduled delivery to the for the whiskey tomorrow. Anyway, Paul, I really do appreciate that. So what I was saying is it allows me to invest back in the channel, to do some short form skits, do some whiskey specific topics. I've got a whole list. This is actually part of the strategy for 2026, is a list of whiskey related topics. I've got about 15 8-minute videos that I'm going to record. I've got an editing suite that I've got my eyes on, but it's like, I don't know, like $30 a month for that editing suite. And it's AI assisted editing. It's not, I can do it, but I also don't have the time to do it. Because again, distiller with a YouTube channel, not YouTuber with a distillery. I should have a camera right there. I should have a camera like set up right here that is like, take it off YouTube. I have my screen on YouTube instead of on OBS. I should have a camera set up right here, but all of my cameras are wired. They're USB cameras. So if I had a wireless camera, if I could figure out how to do a Bluetooth enabled camera, probably could do it with my phone. Distiller with a YouTube channel, not a YouTuber with a distillery. So maybe that's one of the things eventually that I'll be able to invest in for the channel, is have a videographer come and do this shit. But I want to start working towards like 8-minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There, okay. I want to start working towards 8-minute videos, not just shorts. Something a little bit more whiskey related, but not necessarily. I don't know. I don't want to be a whiskey channel. I know I'm a distillery, right? But I don't want to talk about whiskeys. I want to talk about whiskey-related topics, like age statements, clear ice, terroir, why the math behind distillery bankruptcies. You know, why did Uncle Nearest? Why do small distilleries? Why do new distilleries go bankrupt so often? What's going on in the industry that's causing all these distilleries to go bankrupt? Uncle Nearest, a very well-financed distillery, bankrupt. I mean, the short, shit, we could talk about that right now. That takes more than 8 minutes to talk about. The short answer to that stuff like that is they can't afford their debt payments. You know, they spend a lot of money on expansion. They buy a bunch of property. They take on a bunch of debt. They take on a bunch of debt. They take on a bunch of investors. They buy a bunch of property, they build a bunch of equipment, install a bunch of equipment, they produce a bunch of whiskey, but they don't do the work to build a market and sell whiskey. That's one of the biggest hurdles for small distilleries like us. Because I mean, you know, it takes a couple $100,000 to start a distillery. More than a couple, to be honest. I think I'm going on my third 100. About to get into my third 100. And we're just about to start turning a profit this year. But in fact, January, I think, is going to be only the third month in our entire existence that we are cash flow positive. So, knock on wood, that January keeps going the way it's supposed to go, or the way it has been going. We're doing good. We're growing healthily. But that's been a long ways coming to get to this point. It is really, really hard and impractical even for small distilleries, new distilleries, to think that they're just gonna start printing money You know, there's some kind of gold mine of profits where you you open your doors and you start selling 1,000 cases a month. I don't think we sold 1,000 cases last year. And that's okay. We shouldn't be expected to, because we're a small distillery. 1,000 cases is a lot of whiskey. But when when you jump into the world like a company like Uncle Nearest did and decide we're going to be a national brand from jump, it's hard. You know, that's a lot of production. I mean, just in Texas alone, in Houston alone, there are 900 package stores. So just putting your whiskey in every store in Houston is 900 cases. That is 12, let's round it up to 1,000 because it's probably close to 1,000 stores. That's 12,000 bottles of whiskey. Every one of those bottles is a fifth of whiskey. So 12,000 divided by 5 is 2,400 gallons? 2,400 gallons of whiskey. And out of your production of whiskey, about 10% of what you produce actually becomes whiskey. That's roughly how the math goes. So you start with 300 gallons, and at the end of all of that, you get about 30 gallons, give or take. And then you proof that down, and it becomes 50. So you get about 15% of your production. So if you need 2,400 gallons, that's 15% of your production a year, 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, in order to stock every store in just Houston, you needed to produce 6 times 2,400, which is 7,200 doubled. Double 7,200 is 14,400. Did I get that right? I think that's right. 14,400 gallons just to supply Houston. And then there's Houston and Dallas and San Antonio and Fort Worth and New York and Chicago and Miami. You're talking hundreds of thousands of gallons of whiskey in the production run. That is a multi-million-dollar investment for you just to decide right out of jump that your make-believe story about some slave that you got the recipe from, that you invented and put in the New York Post in 2016, is going to be a national brand. I think it was a $5 million investment originally. And yeah, it's a good story. And yeah, they were able to build a pretty big market off of it. But also, they didn't make much money because there's a whole lot of debt service. Investors needed to get their returns. They had to pay for the land. They had to pay for the equipment. They had to pay for the buildings. They had to pay for all that stuff. They had to pay people, human beings, for 5 years while that stuff was being in production. That's one of the reasons, one of the many, many reasons why small distilleries like me can't produce everything on site. Production is expensive as fuck, especially when you got to go sell stuff. So the math behind small distilleries, new distilleries, especially going bankrupt, like Devil's River and hell, almost us even, more than a couple of times over the past 12 years. There was more than a couple of times that I was on the ropes. I wasn't sure what the fuck we were going to do. No lie. But we've made our way through the woods. I think mostly through the woods to the point where I'm pretty sure, fairly confident that at the end of this year we'll still have a distillery. Fairly certain. I don't want to get too cocky because a whole lot of stuff can happen between now and December. Let's move you a little bit further this way. Yeah, that's good. A little bit further. How about there? And then come down. You're gonna get a real good view of my ass at that angle. Let's go this way here, because ain't nobody need to see that shit. I mean, it's a nice ass. Don't get me wrong. It's well sculpted, but we don't need that. There we go. That's where we'll be right now. We good? Yeah. So now you get to see my fat belly. Let's get you higher a little bit. Let's raise you up some. Yeah, now you're at my eye level, but we're going to angle you down. I could probably, y'all want to be like up here? No, we can't do that. We can't do that. You'll just be right there. You'll just be right there. How's that? Yeah. What I was thinking of, actually, was doing something like this. What do you think about that? Right there? No, not there. But maybe there? Yeah. So you can kind of literally see. You can see my crotch. So let's do that angle instead. So you're not looking at penis cam. You're looking at hand cam. Yeah, that'll do. And the bottles are going to go this way out of screen. But let's do that. Yeah. All right, baby. That's cinema right there. That's cinema. Cha, 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 cha. All right. So anyway, the math is hard, especially for whiskey, because whiskey has to sit for months on end and age and mature and just finish. So a lot of these, especially small distilleries, they overspend on production. Especially small distilleries, large distilleries too. We just don't hear about them. We just don't hear about the small distilleries. But they overspend on production. They overspend on equipment. They overspend on marketing. They overspend on all this stuff, but underspend on actual nuts and bolts, brand ambassador, sales team stuff. Sales brokers, brand ambassadors. And the real challenge with brand ambassadors is finding some that don't suck. Because it's real easy, because you got to, especially, it's hard to pay people commission on low volumes because, they don't make any damn money, and it's hard to keep someone interested. So if you're paying somebody 25% a case and they're out there selling 4 cases, 5 cases a week, 5 cases is $1,000. 25% on that $1,000. 5 cases is a lot for a small distillery to be stacking up in independent liquor stores. Those people don't know who we are. They don't know shit about who we are. We've got no name in the market. We've got no name in the industry. We're nobody. Who are you? Oh, I'm some guy who used to be a banker. Got a YouTube channel, Facebook page. We got 10,000 followers on Facebook. They're like, I don't give a shit. How many people drink your whiskey every month? Oh, yeah, that's a great question. When I go to a tasting, we sell them out. But I can only be in 4 places a week, 5 places a week. So, you get a good ambassador who knows how to talk to the stores, who can push 3 or 4 cases a week. That's cool. And they go in and do the tastings and they maintain their sales guys, and that's cool. They can make $200-300 a week. But would you work for $200-300 a week? Fuck no, that's not a livable wage, man. So you got to pay these people a base salary. But if you pay them a base salary, you got to tell them you got to turn 5-6 cases a week during the base salary. Otherwise, I can't afford the base salary. And then you got to, so now you're losing money on salesmen just to pay them enough to keep them motivated. And then you finally find one that can turn 15 cases every couple of weeks. As you start, these liquor stores start to talk to each other, and they start to see what's working and what's not, and you start to get into more stores. They start to get more on the shelf. That's cool, but you've lost money for 6 months trying to build up this ambassador program. But that's how you get your sales, and that's a more effective way to lose money than by paying interest on a note that was your paying interest on a note that was what you used to build out your facility. You know what I mean? So all in all, in the early stages, it's a very strategic, you've got to be very strategic in how you spend your money. And I've made the mistake twice now of big advertising push before I was ready for a big advertising push. We were advertising on ESPN radio. Probably about 6 months before we were ready to advertise on ESPN radio, it didn't move the needle. Didn't move the needle enough. Didn't move the needle at all, arguably. My goal was to get more people to come to the tasting room. And when I look at the transactions in the first 6 months of the year before the advertising campaign started and the last 6 months of the year after the advertising campaign started, the difference was about $1,000 in revenue from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Not good enough. Not even close to good enough. So, stop that crap. But then, you see what's going on and you change your strategy. That's not a bad way to lose money. There's bad ways to lose money and then good ways to lose money. And that was not a bad way to lose money. It wasn't a good way to lose money. But there's worse ways than that. I spent $25,000 a few years ago on an advertising budget with a advertising agency, and they did nothing. Absolutely nothing except redo my website, which that was a fucking waste of money, a waste of time, honestly. But it made my website look a little bit better and taught me SEO stuff. So it was a bad way to lose. It was a good way to lose money, but there was a more efficient way that I could have lost that money and not lost as much money. But probably the best way that I've lost money in the last 6 months is hire up some brand ambassadors and build up my tasting room, or build up the brand ambassador program to the point where we're about to spread into a new state and about to double our sales to get up to about 45 cases a month, up from 20 to about 30, then 40. We're going to be at 30 this month, I believe, and we should get up to 40 next month, which is just fucking awesome. I can't wait, because that's where we need to be, at the baseline, 40 cases a month. Then, sky's the limit, baby. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I know I'm not. Paul, you're still there. John's still there. No, actually, I'm probably just talking to myself, but that's cool. If anyone needs anything, if you got any questions you want to talk about beyond the economics of the distilling industry, it's what's been on my mind these first 8 days of the year, because I've been pretty much closing out 2025 as we move into 2026, thinking about what we've done right and what we've done wrong and how we can do better going into the new year. So, Our ice machine is broken here at the distillery, so we're actually unironically serving all of our drinks without ice right now. And it's not supposed to be a political statement, but also it kind of is, but not on purpose. We only have the good kind of ice. Igloo ice. Yeah, Paul's still here. Good. Anyway, about the special reserve. Since this is what I'm bottling up, and I am effectively a distiller with a YouTube channel, I should at least talk about the whiskey that I'm making. Our special reserve is 90% corn and 10% malted barley. We age it 5 years in used bourbon barrels, bottle it at 90 proof. We finish it, before we bottle it at 90 proof, we finish it in new barrels, which is why it has a darker color than the straight whiskey, which is also 90% corn and 10% malted barley. The Lonely Loser website is advertising on the channel again. I shouldn't call, I mean, they're nice enough to advertise on my channel. We're a whiskey-based channel. I got a note from YouTube saying that my channel was okayed for people under 18. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. I don't want my channel for people under 18. It's not a kid's channel. How do I stop that from happening? All right, fuck, shit, goddamn, motherfucker, shit, fuck, goddamn, shit. There, that should get the fucking kids off their goddamn channel. Dildo, sex. No children allowed. We're at least 18 and up. I'd prefer it to be 21 and up. But I don't think 18-year-olds and 16-year-olds and 14-year-olds are watching my channel. I don't want them to. I'm sure I get them from the shorts, though. And I guess it's okay to have little children coming in for the shorts, but I don't want little babies in my fucking channel. Had my own computer. Hold on, I gotta pause this and read the comment. What's up? I had my own computer consulting company for 3 years. Well, labor was a product, and I struggled. It was always in awe listening to your stories and the complexities of small business and manufacturing. Yeah, I mean, it's so probably the most important book I've read on business in the last 6 years. I've read a lot of really good books. The most powerful idea in the world, I think, is the name of one of the books that was like one of the most fascinating books, and it was about the development of the steam engine and how nobody invented, there was nobody who sat down and said, boom, the steam engine. It was a steady iteration of ideas, of patented ideas over time. And Watt is credited with developing, not inventing, developing the first modern steam engine that we know of, that we recognize as the steam engine today. But he didn't invent the steam engine. He developed it from another patented idea that was developed from another patented idea that was developed from another patented idea that was made possible because of watchmaking technology, that was made possible because of piston, or not piston technology, but paddle wheel technology that was made possible from rivers. And, the first, it's not even the first industrial revolution. The first industrialization that happened was when mills were attached to paddle wheels that were put on rivers. That was by far not even close to the Industrial Revolution, but it was the first version of what we would call industrialization. That didn't multiply human power by any stretch of the imagination. It just made it so that we could harness some forces of nature, but it didn't multiply our ability to do work. not effectively at least, because we were still bound to the river and bound to the flow of the water, and it didn't make it possible for us to do infinity work wherever we were in the world, and that didn't happen until the development of the steam engine. And fun fact, the steam engine was developed as a pump originally, in order to pump water out of mines so that they could dig out coal so that they could feed the steam engine to pump water out of the mines so that they could dig out more coal and tin mines and coal mines. So they could, there was coal alongside the tin in these mines in England. And when they hit a certain level, water would start filling up the mines, and they needed to pump the water out. And they were using hand pumps to pump the water out. But eventually, the mines got so deep they couldn't use hand pumps anymore. So they developed a pump that used vacuum power. It used steam to fill up a chamber, and then they would cool the steam and create a vacuum and cause the piston to go down and the pump to lift up. And when the pump lifted up, they created a vacuum in the shaft that pumped the water out of the shaft, out of the hole, so that they could get the water out, so they could dig out more coal, so that they could feed the fire chamber of the steam engine and dig out, pump out more water, feed more into the fire chamber, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The first steam pumps were extremely inefficient, and they pretty much produced as much coal as they consumed, so they were extremely inefficient. But they did the job because they also got the tin out of the mine and made it possible to pull everything else out of the mine. But the most important thing about it was that it was a patented technology, and somebody could take this patented technology, license it, make money off of it, and make it better. Do something to it and make it better, and continue to develop it to the point where it was not only using steam to push, but using a vacuum to pull, and then adding a second piston to it so that they could do it to the other side as well. So you could push it on this side and pull it on this side, and then push it on this side. While this is pulling, you could push over here. While this is pushing, you could pull over here, and make it more and more and more efficient until the point where we finally develop what we developed. And that's a book that's just absolutely fascinating to me, because it's like, that's how businesses work too. You don't just sit down and go, okay, here's the finished product on paper, done and done. Your 5-year plan is bullshit after the first 2 weeks of operation. Your first 2 months of operation, if you're still working off that 5-year plan, you haven't done enough work. You haven't tried. Unless nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. You can't fathom what's going to happen over the course of the next 5 years. And you're going to have to pivot. You're going to have to change. I have changed my business model in 12 years probably 7 times. Probably 7 times. We've changed our business model from focusing on distributor sales and not the tasting room, to developing the tasting room, to sourced product, to in-house product, to back to source product, to developing markets outside of Houston, to focusing on Houston, to opening the tasting room, to developing the tasting room, to focusing back on online sales, to pivoting off of online sales and going back to in-store sales, to, finally focusing once again on the tasting room side of it. And then not abandoning the tasting room, but abandoning that as a primary focus and getting back out into the stores like we're doing now. The handle of this is getting hot as fuck. I've got a short. I probably have a short in this machine. I'm probably gonna have to replace my heat gun in the next 6 or 12 months. But anyway, yeah, in the same way that the steam engine wasn't just invented, it was developed over generations of iteration after iteration after iteration over the course of like 120 to 150 years. Same with a business. It develops over time to the point where the original idea maybe was ahead of its time, and you simply weren't ready to have that operation when you started, and you had to boil it down to first principles, strip off the superfluous stuff, and go back to just a core business model, and then put bells and whistles onto it as you developed over time, and grow into what you hoped to be when you started. Sometimes you grow into something entirely different than what you were when you started. Sometimes you start as vodka and you go into whiskey, or you start as whiskey and you go into vodka. That's entirely possible. We did not do that. We started as bourbon, and we added vodka, and we dropped vodka, then we added more whiskey, and then we added vodka. And then I've since added a little bit of gin. We've added more to what we do. And I've added back in things that I took out because we just couldn't do everything all at once in the early days. That is really hot on the handle. Jeez. Whew. But that's not even the most significant book that I've read this year. Look, my phone's right there. Infinity Vision. Woo! That's not even the most significant book that I've read this year. The most significant book I've read in the past, I don't know how many years, is a book called The Goal. And I'm going to do a little fan service here. We're going to move. How am I going to do this? We're going to do this right here. Can I do it? Let me see here. Can I do this? All right. Can I do this? You're on my belt buckle, by the way. All right. Can't do that yet. We do that? Maybe. Okay. Bring the label over here. I'm trying to label it in up close 4K, whatever, just for you guys. You see that? Back label first. And now front label. How's that? All right. You were right. You were on my belt buckle. That's kind of funny. Okay, so now you're going to be up there. We're going to be over here. Clip that. I don't know how to do that. If you can clip it. We'll make it a short. Maybe I'll go back through and find a short. That's pretty awesome. All right, so back labels first, front labels second. The Goal is, it's a business book. It's probably the most significant business book that I've read. And there's a lot of books about business, about scaling your business and blah, blah, blah. I've listened to Masters of Scale, the podcast with Reed Hoffman. He's like, yeah, all you need to do is get more customers and push your app out to more people and have $1 trillion. Yeah, it's real easy to scale up your fucking business when you have $1 billion investment, you shitberg. Anyway, all you need to do is spend $1 billion and hire people. And yeah, that's more to it than that. It's hard. But this book, you can Google. It was made into a movie, a really shitty movie, I think in the 80s. But this book, well, it's about a dude who has a factory that makes widgets. It's a semi-automated factory that they make machines that have processes, and they're processing machines, and none of it's specific and none of it really matters. It's just a machine, and their industry makes these machines, units, or whatever you want to call it. And they're failing. The business is failing. The factory is failing. They're efficient, but they're losing money. And he can't figure out why they're so efficient, why the numbers are so good. You remember the labeling jig? I actually am. When it comes to just 50 or so labels, I actually am faster than the machines. The machines shave a little bit of time off of what I'm doing, but really they just add to the consistency. I hardly ever use the machines because I hardly ever make more than 5 cases at a time. So I kind of manage the processes so that I don't have an overwhelming amount of work to do at any given point of the week or day, for that matter. But anyway, he can't figure out why his factory is losing money. All their efficiencies are up, but in addition to their efficiencies, they're also being overwhelmed with inventory. They're being overwhelmed with late orders and slow orders, and they can't ever seem to produce anything on time. And then management jumps down their throat, and they have to panic, and they have to expedite an order, and it throws everything else off, and people get all pissy and blah blah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Labor is upset. People are quitting. Nobody's happy. They're going to shut down the factory, and da 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 da. And he's trying to figure out how to make his factory work. It's a work of fiction. It's not based on anything specific, but I think the plant is located in Ohio, and it's a little factory town. The whole town relies on this factory. Everybody works there, or they're supported by somebody who works there. You have the sandwich shop sells sandwiches to people that work in the factory, that kind of thing. Typical 1980s Rust Belt factory town, whatever. So what it boils down to is he gets this business consultant that he starts talking to named Jonah, I think Goldberg or something like that, an Israeli physicist. And this dude gives him different metrics to work on. It's not overhead and inventory or anything like that. It's bottlenecks and throughput. And what it boils down to is it doesn't matter how much you produce. It doesn't matter how efficiently you produce it. None of that shit matters. What matters is, what do you finally sell? Where is the stuff going? Is it going into a warehouse, or is it going to the final customer? And if what you are doing is not facilitating throughput, if what you are doing is not facilitating getting product into, turning inventory into sales revenue, because all of this on my floor here, all of this is money. Every bit of it is money. It's money that's not going into my pocket because it's in bottles, it's in corks, it's in labels, if it's on the floor in here, it's money that I've spent, and it is not revenue that I'm earning. It's not benefiting the company in any way, shape, or form to have inventory, to have money sitting on the floor. I'm paying rent for this shit. You know, when I pay my monthly rent bill, I am either paying rent for stuff that's turning into money or stuff that is sitting there being expensive. And that's the key metric that they talk about in this book is throughput. Revenue created from sales, not revenue created from transferring product to a different division, not revenue from disposal of equipment, revenue from sales. And that was kind of revelatory to me this last year, because I've been working on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've been working on developing my tasting room and getting my tasting room to grow revenue. Because every bottle that I sell in my tasting room is worth 2 in the store. Because I get, because in Texas you have to sell it to the distributor, and then the distributor sells it to the retailer. So in Texas, when you see it on the shelf, I've been paid about half of the price you see on the shelf. So my special reserve is in stores at $40, give or take. I get $20 a bottle for my special reserve. So a case of special reserve for me is $240. But if you buy a case of special, you can't buy a case of special reserve. If I sell a case of special reserve over the course of a month here at the tasting room, it is worth to me $480. So it is more economical to me. You can do that math real quick. It is more economical to me to bring in 100 customers to the tasting room and sell a bottle or 2 bottles to each one of these customers. The average customer at my stores, at my tasting room, will buy 2 bottles of whiskey. The average basket, the average transaction over the course of 2025 was about $55. Because usually what they'll end up doing is they'll buy a flight, a cocktail, and a bottle. So a flight and a cocktail is about $15. If there's 2 people, that's $30. And then they'll take home a bottle of whiskey. So that's $30 plus average price of a bottle is $40. $35, $40. $30, $35, $40, $45. So the average price is $37.50, I believe. That's what that comes out to. 30 plus 45 is, $37.50. So the average basket is about $60. And we get about 50 people a month. So that's about $300, $3,000 rather. And it's actually a little bit less than $60. It's more like 55, between 50 and 55, because we average about 2,500 through the tasting room. Anyway, the goal was to get the tasting room up to about 100 transactions a month. And I was willing to spend money to get the transactions up to about 100 transactions a month. But then I was thinking, you know what? What if I just sell twice as many cases? If I spend the same amount of money and sell twice as many cases on the retail side, just double the number of stores that we're in instead of double the number. Then not only can I increase the amount of revenue, I mean, I can, it effectively does the same thing. And I have more throughput, more product going out the door. Of course, it increases the cost. I have to get more product coming in the door, more product going out the door. But I also interact with more people out in the wilderness, out in the wild, out in the great state of Texas. So the throughput thing was really significant when I was looking at my strategy over the course of the year. And I spent a lot of time and effort trying to build up the tasting room. But about September or October, I decided, you know what we need to do? This isn't working out. This isn't economical for me. I'm not getting the throughput in the tasting room that I want. And it would actually be, while it would be more economical, it's more efficient to sell 100 bottles at the average price of $60 a bottle or $37.50 a bottle. It's better for the business to sell 200 bottles at $17, or I'm sorry, $18 a bottle. Because if I'm selling 200 bottles at $18 a bottle, I'm reaching 200 people. And ultimately what we want to do is reach more people, have more product being sold, so that we can then bring more people into the tasting room. This becomes our own billboard, our own marketing campaign. So if we increase the throughput, then we can increase the number of people we encounter, the number of people we interact with, and ultimately it grows the business faster. So once again, I pivoted within the year, partly because the marketing strategy to grow the tasting room just wasn't paying off, but also it just made more sense in the context of throughput for the business. If I spend $2,000 to try and increase my revenue by $3,000 in the tasting room, or if I could spend $2,000 and increase my revenue by $3,000 out in the field, in the broad market, well, the $2,000, the $3,000 revenue increase was the same, but the $3,000 in the field, while less efficient, was more valuable because it represented more people, more product, more throughput. And it was less risky because it also represented 15 new retail locations, 15 new points of sale, and not one single choke point, one single bottleneck of revenue coming through the tasting room. So while strategically it sounds like a good idea to set up the tasting room as your beachhead, this is where we're going to bring the people here and go an inside out strategy to have people come into the tasting room and then go out to the market and buy their second bottle of whiskey will be at the store. What I really needed people to do was their first bottle of whiskey be at the store and their second bottle of whiskey be here in the tasting room. Yeah, we're real close. We're real people. You can come visit. Real people, real close. Come see us. Real good whiskey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. So that's that strategy over the course of the last 3 months of the year has actually started paying off. I'm seeing things move in the right direction. I think we've sold 10 cases in the first 10 days of January, which is fucking awesome. To the point where we had to get a whole nother order on the 8th. Well, on the 9th, tomorrow. So that's good. We're all doing great. I think we're going to make it. The struggle is real, though. The struggle is real. Small businesses, we got to fight for every dime. We got to fight for every inch of reputation and every scrap of territory in front of us. There's no rest for the weary. Running a small business is hard as fuck. And my ultimate goal is to no longer run a small business, but to scale it up to the point where it's a large business. And I am the chairman emeritus of the board of directors, and I attend meetings from my yacht in the Caribbean Sea. Oh, fuck it, the Aegean Sea. We're gonna be in Mediterranean waters, baby. That's the goal. Be a whiskey oligarch. Sipping on ouzo off the coast of Italy. No, wait, that's not ouzo. No, that's grappa, right? Grappa is Italian. Ouzo is Greek. And easier to find yeah, they do have signage and parking at retail stores. It is easier to find at retail stores. It's just you've got to be in retail stores for it to be found, which is also the challenge, because you want to make sure, when people say, "Hey, where can we find your whiskey?" You want to be able to say at fine retail stores near you. But in the early days, at least, it is in these 12 locations around town. Plus these Spec stores. Here's the 35 or so Spec stores out of their 240 network stores. Here's the, and yeah, we lost our sign. The fucking HOA took our sign down that was on the freeway. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to get a sign on the freeway that doesn't run afoul of Landowner Association, LOA rules. But I've contacted the landowners that are on the freeway. They have not responded to me. So what I think I'm going to do is just put a fucking sign out on their property. And if they don't like it, they can contact me and tell me to take it down. But then I can say, "Hey, I've tried to contact you. Glad you finally found me. What do I need to do to make this proper?" My lovely wife just shared a reel with me. My son is on an airplane right now, somewhere over the Pacific Ocean. He is flying to Japan. I'm sorry, he's in an airplane. He's not on an airplane. Being on a 777 would suck. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got one more row. Because those fly really high and really fast. And he'd be really cold, I presume. But he's going to Japan, and she has been next to herself all day long, but outside of her skull. She's not been having a very good day. But he will be landing. It's an 18-hour flight to Tokyo. He left at 10 in the morning. 10:50 is when his flight took off. So he'll be landing 12 hours will be 10 p.m. 8 hours after that, 11 p.m. 8 hours after that will be 7 a.m. So he'll be landing about the time we wake up. Let's see. He is scheduled to land at en route and on time, arriving in over 8 hours, arriving at Terminal 2 in Japan. Thursday arrives at 3:15 Japanese time. So I don't know what the fuck time that is here in Houston. But it is 12 hours and 56-minute total flight time is what it says on the app, on the website. So 13-hour flight time. 13-hour flight time. He lands at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Japan. 13 hours would be left at 11 o'clock our time. That would be 12 o'clock our time. Japan's only 3 hours in front of us? That doesn't fucking sound right. Whatever. It's 12:11 p.m. Tokyo right now. I guess they are 3 hours in front of us. 12:11 p.m. 12:11 p.m. That's That's 9 hours behind me. So 3:50 p.m. Friday, Japan time would be, yeah, that's 1 o'clock a.m. Wait, the behind. Fuck, I don't know. Shit, I don't know. It's a 13-hour flight, so that means if it's 12 p.m. now, that means they're landing in about 4 hours. No, because it's Thursday in Japan. It's still Thursday in Japan. He's over the ocean. I don't know how time zones work. Let's see. If I update this website, this is a flight tracker thing, and it shows that he is over the Pacific Ocean. He's damn close to Japan, actually. No, he's still a long ways from Japan. Well, yeah, he's actually approaching the Kuril Islands. There he is. That's where he's at right now. So there's the Kuril Islands. There's Tokyo. So he's got a while to go. 3:40 p.m. They're in the future. Oh, that's right, because it's over the international date line, right? Right? Are they over? Is it already tomorrow in Japan? Hey Siri, what time is it in Japan? It is tomorrow plus 15 hours. So it's 12:13 p.m. tomorrow. They are, stop talking to me. They are ahead of us. Shit. It's noon tomorrow in Japan. It is Friday at noon in Japan. So they land in 3 hours in Japan, give or take, right? Is it supposed to? Yeah, it's 12:11 in Tokyo right now. They're supposed to land at 3:40, so they land in 3 hours and 30 minutes in Japan. They'll be landing around midnight our time. I'm a fucking monkey, and I figured it out. Woo! They're landing in about 3 hours. Okay. Yeah, whatever. I just knew it was about a 14-hour trip. Oh, he's a time traveler is what he is. Yeah, I can see how that could fuck with your clock with all the jet lag and shit. That would suck. It sucks a lot. Anyway, so he's on a flight to Japan right now. That's where he's at. He's his January term for school. They are required to go to school for 3 Jan terms over the course of their 4-year degree plan. And this is his second Jan term. His first Jan term was prairie restoration project with the Environmental Sciences School. They were doing prairie restoration, which was basically walking around a field, lighting shit on fire, and then putting out the fires, or letting the fires burn enough until they needed to put them out. So, yeah, prairie restoration. This school owns a prairie grassland, and they've been in the process of restoring these grasslands for the last several years, studying the effects of the grasses on the soils, invasive plants, invasive animals, weeds, all kinds of stuff. And that was the first one we did. Boom. All right. Last step of the process is boxing this shit up. So 12 of these bottles goes into the tasting room. He's younger now than when he was left relative to us. Yeah, but he's also a day later than he was when he left. So, like, he's going to lose a whole day of his life because he's traveling backwards through the date line. He's already in the future, man. He needs to bet on some games. He needs to place some bets on some games that were going to be played today. He needs to wait. He should have placed the bets today. No, he needs to place a bet on the games that were going to be played tomorrow that would have played had he therefore then left, such that he could have known the outcome prior to wait a minute. Time traveling tenses are complicated. He will have needed to go to, no wait, that's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got 4 more bottles. I'm probably going to tear my bar apart at some point in the next 12 months as well and build a new bar in the tasting room. So if somebody wants our old bar, maybe instead of ripping it apart, I sell it, raffle it off, and have the Old Humble Distilling Company tasting room bar for your cabana or whatever. That'd be kind of cool to have our bar in your house. He gets that back on his return. Yeah, but if he places it, he'll know the games finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the games finish that started today. He'll know the game, how the Ole Miss game ended before the rest of us, because he's already in tomorrow. Tomorrow's newspapers will print in Japan before they print here, and they'll have the winners of the games, so he can come back in time and place a bet. Oh, except the plane doesn't fly fast enough. He's got to get one of those supersonic planes that flies faster than the Earth spins. They used to be able to do that with the Concorde. You could actually fly east and leave or arrive before you left in the Concorde. You could like leave London at 6 p.m. and arrive in Moscow. You couldn't fly a Concorde from London to Moscow, but you could leave London, or you could leave New York at 6 p.m. and arrive in London at 5 p.m. I think that was possible. Can't remember. I might be making shit up. Don't listen to me. Only trust me in matters of civics, whiskey, and math. And even then, probably just math. Philosophy, I could probably hold my own in philosophy too. Because when it comes to stuff I don't know, philosophically, I'll usually say I don't know. Like, I don't know how that works out. I don't know what metaphysical school of philosophical thought that's attached to. But that doesn't make sense. I don't know the answer to that. That seems like some kind of motherfucking gibberish. Bacon was trying to talk about fucking nuance as a philosophical concept. Like, that's not a philosophical concept, you dumb idiot. Did he bring a bottle of Dad's product to Japan? He did not. He's only 19. He can't bring a product of Dad's bottle of Dad's product to Japan. He's only 19. And you can't bring a 750 milliliter bottle of whiskey on an airplane anyway. I guess he could have put it in his luggage, but no, since it's a school thing, he did not want to get in trouble. He is a good kid. He is a very and I say good kid in not a derogatory type of way. I mean, he's like he's got a good head on his shoulders. You know, he's the type of kid that, like, he was 18, he goes to college, and he calls us up one day and he says, "Mom, Dad, I tried alcohol for the first time at a party this last weekend." And I'm like, "I'm surprised it took you this many weeks to do it." I mean, it was probably halfway through the first semester. And it was like, Jesus, it took you 3 months, 2 months? God damn. That was the surprising part, that it took 3 full months for him to finally have a drink. I mean, this kid was like 10 years old while I'm bottling up whiskey, and he's helping me fill bottles of whiskey in my distillery. He got terrified when he was, I think, probably 10 years old. He got terrified because he bumped one of my barrels and got whiskey on him, and he thought he was going to go to jail because he smelled like whiskey. He's like, "Are they going to arrest me?" Like, calm down. If anything, they're going to arrest me for having my 10-year-old smell like booze. You're fine, kid. Nah, he's a good kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders. I don't know where he gets that from. It must be from his mom, because I'm crazy as a fucking bat with his tail on fire. But I kidnapped him for his, I think, 13th birthday maybe? Might have been his 8th birthday. He was just a kid. He was just a little kid. But he was tall enough to ride the rides at Six Flags. And I snatched him up. It was for his birthday. I gave him a note and said, "You'd be dressed in 15 minutes. Your adventure begins for your birthday." And we left. And that was it. That's all I told him. I'm like, "Pack 2 sets of clothes. We're leaving." He packed up and we left. So next thing I need to do is print out labels for all these boxes. I told him I was going to redesign the labels, but I'm not going to do that yet. I'm just going to go ahead and print the same old labels that I had, but I'm going to print those out in the morning. And we're just going to slap the labels on these things, put it on the pallet, wrap it up, and when the truck shows up, it's out the door. The pallet I'm going to use is right there. I'm going to use that pallet that's right there on the floor. I don't think I have any other pallets, honestly. Let me look. Oh no, I've got some good pallets right there. I'm going to use one of those pallets. So I got a couple of pallets I can use to stack these guys up. The truck will show up tomorrow, and they're out the damn door. We're good to go. We're ready. It took me about 2 hours. It is almost 10 o'clock. We went from bottle, from barrel to bottle. Anyway, what I was saying about the birthday present, I just told him, like, snatch it, get your clothes, let's go. And we left, and we drove up to Dallas, and we had dinner at my brother's house. We had dinner at my brother's house, and then the next morning, he got up. He thought the present for his birthday was going to visit his cousin and his uncle in Dallas. Just me and him going to Dallas to visit his uncle. And then the next morning, I hand him another envelope, a manila envelope, and in that envelope were 2 tickets to what is the background music? Has that background music been going the whole time? It has been. Anyway, the next day he gets a gift, or the envelope, and it is a 2 tickets to Six Flags Arlington. And I said, "You're going to Six Flags. Let's go. We're going to ride all the rides." So we left that morning. We went to Six Flags. And this is the whole point of the story. We ride all the rides. We get to one ride, and it's like one of the Batman rides, and there's flames. It's like whoosh, flames, and it's really scary looking. He's like, "I don't know about this." He was terrified of the first ride. And we go on the first ride. He was hooked. He was in. He's like, "This was awesome." Like, as we go up, we tick, 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 we go all the way up to the top. He's like, I went up, I went up, I went up, I went up. I'm like, okay, as soon as we get down to the bottom, we'll get off. He's like, I went up, I went up. Like, you gotta just wait till we get to the bottom. He's like, I went up. And then he goes, whoosh, and he goes, this is awesome. As he's like, whoa. Anyway, we get to this ride, and it's towards the end of the day. And I'm like, dude, we went through the whole line, all the way through the line. And he gets right up to it. He's like, Dad, I don't think I want to do this. I'm scared. That fire's scary. I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm like, dude, you've gone through the whole line. You're going to just for one moment have to face the fear of that fire on this ride that is it's just there to scare you. It's not going to hurt you. It can't touch you. They can't hurt you on these rides. They're not allowed to. So for one moment, you're going to have to face that fear. And you will take that with you for the rest of your life. You'll live with it. It'll be yours. You'll own it for the rest of your life. Or you're going to let it win, and you're going to carry that with you for the rest of your life. Choose which one you're going to carry. You're like 10, so you've got your whole life to change the narrative after this. But you're going to remember this moment. And he sits there for a second. He goes, you know what? I can see the gears cranking in his head, and he goes, okay, like the fuck it nerve was tripped, the fuck it wire. And he's like, okay, we're in. I'm going to do it. And the motherfucking ride operator came up with his little stick, and he's like, you're an inch too short. You have to go. Oh, I could have wrung that little prick's neck. Oh, I could have killed him. Anyway. But yeah, that was the moment that I saw the fuck it reflex trigger in my son. And I saw that he had the same thing in him that I have in me. Every rational thought in your body tells you to do a thing, and then the other part of you is like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do this thing. So he's got a good brain box, and I think he gets most of that from his mom, but he gets a little bit of that adventurism from me, which is why he's 3 hours away from Japan right now. Anyway, it's the end of the day, kids. We talked about everything. I had fun. I got my order done. I'm ready to ship this stuff tomorrow. I'm going to do a quick check of the emails and see if the distributor responded, because they were supposed to pick the stuff up today on the 8th, but I was like, I'm not ready on the 8th. Oh no, do it tomorrow, please. I wasn't expecting it today. I was expecting it on the, no, I don't have it. Okay. They'll respond in the morning. It'll be fine. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, Paul, thank you for pushing me over the top. I super duper appreciate it. I really do. I'm going to make you proud. I'm going to put that money to good work. I'm going to, we're going to make, and you shoot me an email, info@oldhumblедistilling.com. Shoot me the email. Give me your address. info@oldhumbledistilling.com. info@oldhumbledistilling.com. Shoot me your address. I'll shoot you that gift box. You put me over the top. It's worth $100. You get the gift box. Appreciate it. I really do. I truly appreciate it. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to send it out tomorrow. But I will send it out. I'll get to it. I promise. Cross my heart. And we're going to do the 5,000 subscriber special. I've got 4 more of those gift boxes. So 3 more of those gift boxes. So when we do the 5,000 subscriber special, we'll give away some. Oh, look at there, Top Shelf Dustin comes in right at the closing wire. Appreciate you popping in too, Dustin. Cheers to you, man. My phone is over here. Where is my phone? Here it is. So, in the news you missed, Dustin, Paul pushed me over the over the $100 mark for revenues for 2025. So YouTube's going to send me my monetization check, and I can start working on my monetization goal for 2026, which is $100 by the end of June, and then another $100 by the end of December. That's the modest monetization goals that I have for my channel, $200 a year. And that money goes, of course, all goes back into the channel, whether it's editing, whether it's editors, or whether it's uh, uh, equipment and stuff, you know, cameras and shit. I don't think I can find a decent camera for $100, but you know, we got good microphones, so that makes a big difference. I might be able to get. I don't really need new lighting, but I could use new lighting rigs. And the lights in the pandemic studio suck. I hate those lights. They're fucking gel lights. They're not remote control LED lights. They're gel lights. So in order to change the lighting color, I have to actually physically change the gels, which means I never change the lighting color. They're just diffused. That's it. Anyway, I'm done for the night. It's almost 10 o'clock. It's 9:30. I'm going to go home. I'm going to get some sleep. I'm going to get up in the morning, and I'm going to get this stuff palletized and ready to ship out to the distributor for money, 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 money. $3,200 sitting right there on my table. So get a 20-something with big boobs to walk around behind you for $100. You know, I might hit up those ad twins again. I've been wanting to do that, but you know their ads cost like $100. So there's somebody outside. Anyway, I'm good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, cheers to you. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for your support throughout 2025 and through 2026. Stay tuned to find out more information. You know, hit the subscribe bell, and yeah, I will post up a video about our 5,000 subscriber special. Well, it sounded like a motorcycle, and it sounds like they took off. So there you go. Stay awesome. Be awesome to each other. Cheers.